All right, let's now welcome in the Maryland Terrapins head coach Adam Hughes, Ajack Malual, and Eva Rohrbach, who are joining us right now. Coach, an opening statement from you, please. And again, if you have a question, please state your name and your outlet, please.
Just excited to be here. I feel like I'm becoming one of the vets. It's every time we come here, it's a little bit of just a reminder of how much the sport has grown and how thankful we are for this opportunity. Going into this season, college sports is changing. The Big Ten keeps getting better and better, and there's a lot of great storylines all over the place. And our goal as a program is to create a storyline for ourselves. And we've got a special group that's put in a lot of good work this spring. It's going to look a lot different than it has probably in the past, but very, very excited to get started.
All right, questions for the Terrapins here in the room. And of course, if you're joining on Zoom too, make sure to put those questions in the chat, and I'll get to those. We'll start with Lincoln.
Lincoln Arnett, Husky, sorry. Adam, you mentioned college sports is changing. One of the big changes, the house settlement, now we have to pay the players. How has that impacted how you go about roster development, and how has it impacted your program as a whole?
Yeah, we're trying to limit it as much as possible while also participating. I'm thankful for Jim Smith, our new AD, continuing to support volleyball. I think even behind the commissioner's vision for where this thing is headed, we had a great meeting as a head coaches group in February, and it was incredible to hear the vision of what college volleyball could be for the Big Ten. And making sure that we can hang in that and make sure that we're supported. We're thankful for that. But the reality is we want to make sure we don't lose sight on, the people that are in there, the culture. We don't want to get stuck into dollars and cents as much as we possibly can. And, so far I think we've done a pretty good job of that.
I have a question for AJ. Tell us a little bit about your experience with the Italian national team and playing in that system, and how that really describes your game.
Oh, that was like a long time ago. It was kind of like 2018. It has like been the peak of my time when I was playing in Italy as I was still in high school. I feel like it made me grow so much as a player, both on and off the court, and I feel like it gave me such a different perspective of what Italian volleyball style kind of looks like. And we got to face different countries, and so it was a little bit of an introduction to what it was coming in America and playing college volleyball.
And Coach, wanted to ask you too about losing the production of Sam Sire and Samantha Schnida, two leaders on this team as well, and what you're seeing so far from this squad in terms of refilling that production and the kind of roles they had.
Yeah, we have a great balance of what the program and what the team looks like right now. Eva is one of our vets. She's been with us. She's been committed to us for a long time. She's had 2 good years, and we're hoping she can take a huge step this year and have a great season. We've got a great core that's coming back. Last year we had 5 super seniors and 3 regular seniors. We had 8 departures, and we rolled the dice with those guys and hoping that we could capitalize on having 3 good seasons in a row. Last year wasn't a good year for us, and we're trying to be resilient and bounce back. But I think the staff and the program as a whole did a really good job of making sure we found the right pieces, the things that we needed to replace in this offseason. We're not trying to buy time and just be young. We wanted to have a chance to be good this year. And, I feel like we've done a really good job bringing in not just good players, but good people. And it's been a good spring for us.
Eva, Coach kind of hit on a little bit there too. I mean, you lost a lot of experience, a lot of 5th-year, 6th-year players. How do you go about filling that leadership void, and who has stepped up to kind of take on those leadership roles?
Yeah, great question. I think the ladies who left us last year did a great job prepping the underclassmen for how to step into the leadership role, especially Zoe and Samantha Schnida. Amazing teammates and great role models that I look up to and hope to fill their shoes and do the same. They did an amazing job prefacing it for us, and so now it's our role to step into it and, take it home.
What does that look like? How do you go? How are you during the summer? How do you do that?
I think for me personally, being more of a vocal piece on this team, I tend to lead by example. I feel like I always have just in actions, but I would like to also be vocal in this season with my words and bringing everyone together, huddles, locker room, weightlifting,
It's definitely one thing that I've enjoyed with the change in college sports. You get someone organically that's been in the program, knows kind of the norms. I think Eva's done a really good job of always reminding us that we want to raise the standard. We're not comfortable where we are. We want to keep moving this thing forward. But then you get this cool experience of bringing in people from various programs. We have 3 players coming from SEC programs, and they get to, one, remind you of the things that your program is really good at and why they're thankful that they're there. But they can also bring you tweaks or different ideas that can allow your program to keep evolving and changing. And for us, I think we've kind of leaned into that.
AJ is one of those players transferring from an SEC school. What can we be excited for when it comes to her game and how she might fill a role in your team?
We had a really good offset last year in Samantha Schnitta, not just as a player, but as a person. And, she's got big shoes, but I think, in a short amount of time, AJ's done a phenomenal job adjusting and coming to Maryland. And I think she's been allowed to be herself. She's a different style of player. She's crafty. She's got great shot selection. She's played the game at a really high level. And same thing, even though that she's new, she's always talked about kind of raising the standard within the program. And, I'm thankful she's here.
AJ, what drew you to Maryland, and what are you excited about showcasing in a new environment?
Well, first of all, Coach Hughes, because talking to him has been so helpful. I feel like we had instant connection. I feel like I've been very clear with what I was looking for, what I value the most, and I feel like he embraces so much what Maryland volleyball is and what it can offer, and it's very welcoming when your goals align to what the program stands for. And so to me, my decision was really, really quick because I had no doubt that it was my place, both, volleyball-wise, location-wise, in terms of having, a new team, people's being young, wanting people to step on the court with, character, and also bringing, something different. We have very different backgrounds in our team, and so I felt it was, the perfect place for me.
Yeah, the transfer portal in the winter break is pretty crazy, especially with the deadline. We have 2 weeks to make things happen, and I was happy to get AJ on board, but literally we were driving around the Washington Memorial at 11:50 trying to race people to their hotels before the midnight deadline. So a big shout out to the staff for putting in the work to do what they needed to do.
So it was as quick as she says it was.
AJ and I enjoyed some coffee, walking around DC. I always like having my family around. A lot of our athletes aren't around during that time, so they have to take kind of a leap of faith. But I always want to make sure that they know that I will treat them like one of my daughters.
I think we're going to open it up to a couple of our student journalists who are here as well. If we want to hand the mic, is anybody ready? Anyone want to jump in? Any volunteers? Okay, we'll bring the mic over here. Say your name, where you go to school, and then your question.
My name is Jasmine Calva, and I'm from Milton Brunson Elementary School. And I have a question on the players. Is there any suggestions from your coach that helped you improve greatly? Great feedback?
It's a great question.
I think Hughes is not the biggest, loudest coach. And so whenever he tells us something, it really sticks in my head. And so whenever, it's feedback, related to, something technical, about hitting, about blocking, about the energy on the court, I feel like whatever he says is just really impactful because it's not so much a lot. It's just very, one thing, that is what we got to work on. And I feel like it's really, really a great trait that he has.
Yeah, I think for me, the best thing I've learned from the coaches is them helping me balance being not just a volleyball player and seeing my identity as outside of that, and allowing that to translate into the court and keep my mindset calm, not too overbearing in volleyball thoughts, and just reminding me I'm a person too, I'm a student. Yeah.
Anything else from our students? All right, Coach, I had another question for you, too. You're one of several teams that is refilling that setter position, too. How is that process? And I'll ask the players, too. You're going through these workouts in summer about getting those repetitions, getting that acclimation, and kind of resetting at that role.
Yeah, we brought in a really good setter last year in Lily Wagner, and one of her goals was that if she didn't have a chance to kind of start at the beginning of the season, she wanted to have a 4-year career and make the most of it. So we got kind of into the middle of the start of the season and decided that was the best path to go forward. So it's just been nice to have someone that's already been within the program for a long time. She knows our verbiage, our language. She's done a good job acclimating and understanding just kind of the differences in humans and feedback loops. So yeah, I feel like that's not going to be that big of a challenge for us. There'll be some experience challenges as a freshman. We'll be, playing in these environments. This past spring, we actually took advantage of that, tried to play a couple different matchups, including at Penn State, and we just wanted to make sure we were trying to get ourselves in game-ready mode as much as possible. We're trying to do the same thing here in preseason. It's the first time we've actually played a scrimmage. I'm going to play my former assistant coach, AJ Benetti, in Georgetown, just to make sure that we're doing everything we can to be ready for match 1.
AJ, do you know Virginia Adriano, who's going to Nebraska? Have you played with her or friends with her?
No, not at all. But I heard about her.
Yeah, we all did.
We'll find out soon.
Adam, your job's tough to begin with. It's a very hard job in this league. Have the events of the last 6-8 months made it harder, easier, the same?
In terms of
NCAA and all that's going on.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of unknowns still, I think the one thing that we've gotten more comfortable with is just change is going to keep happening. A lot of times the coaches talk about, have we finally hit a stabilization point? Have we finally hit somewhere that we can kind of figure out how to build? And I don't foresee that happening anytime soon anyway. So I feel like we learned our lessons during the COVID season of just, hey, adapt, keep adapting, keep changing. I feel like college athletics is going to continue to do that for a number of years. And, the one thing that is nice for us is that we don't have a ton of traditions that we have to hold on to. So we can keep adapting and trying to, catch up to what those norms are. So to be honest, I'm not sure where it goes. But, yeah, I'm thankful we have a seat at this table because it's clear this is the best conference in the country. And I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Another question for Coach Hughes, especially with having 4 transfers, 3 from the SEC. What can we expect to see in terms of that identity of this team? Is there maybe any changes that you're looking to when you look to propel this team this coming season?
I think we're looking at it, or at least I'm looking at different. This year we switched to a 12-month model. And we wanted to make sure once we hit the ground running in January, it was about building the team from that jump. In the past, I think we used preseason as an opportunity to kind of figure out where we were. We're having more and more freshmen join us in the spring semesters anyway. We had 14 of 16 with us, and we felt like we did a lot of identity searching, kind of did a really good job from a staff standpoint, just reflecting on what things were working, what do we want to reteach, maybe try 2 or 3 different things. And now it's trying to use the preseason as a chance to prepare for that first match. In the past, I felt like the model was more about trying to learn a lot about ourselves, and I think we learned a lot this spring.
Abby Harris, Go Big Redcast. What are some of your goals for the season, both as a team and as individual players?
I'll kick off and just say, we didn't have a good season last year, but we have a good program. And, we've had some success, and it's a tough conference. And to me, there's different levels. There's championship level programs. Penn State just won last year. Nebraska won a couple years ago. Wisconsin's won. You're talking like elite levels. And then there's some great programs that are continually around the NCAA tournament. And then there's a bunch of us who are really, really good, and we feel like we've been able to kind of work our way up into that echelon, and we want to turn our program into being great. And, it's not an easy challenge, but we're taking that on, and that's why I love hearing this, where we have some homegrown talent talking about raising the standard, and we have some fresh talent coming in talking about raising the standard. And I think this group's got a lot of potential, and I'm really happy that the coaches kind of picked us low at the bottom, because it's nice to, leave a low profile.
Yeah, I think, was that a question for both of us?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think team-wise, our goals is, of course, win, of course, and staying at the top half of the conference. But I think what's the most important thing for us is not getting caught up into this chasing of like winning, but kind of losing our identity and our cohesiveness. And so I feel like our biggest challenge and goal at the same time is going to be to be consistent in doing that. And you can plan a season, in my opinion, as much as you want, but like it's a short time, but it goes by so fast and you cannot control everything. And so I think it's about who adapt the faster without losing, themselves in the process, both as a team and individually. And so me, personally, is also, aside from, technical goals, like swinging high, pressing with that block, not missing the serve when it's 14-14, I don't know. It's also gonna be not only being a reliable teammate for my team, but also, I think, visualizing when things are going in a direction that it's really easy not to see, and being fast in identifying that, communicating that, and adapting to be able to reach our goals.
I would say just raising the standard for years to come. It's been a growing program, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it and leave it better for the next year and the next year. And it's been great growing through it and becoming an upperclassman now, and just want to lead this group and set the tone for this year and then seasons to come following.
I don't know where the mic is, but we had a question down here back here.
I'll take it.
Okay.
Okay, Sue Marianne with Big Ten Network. You've all kind of alluded to it, but there's so many connections, just in the volleyball world, in the Big Ten, where Adam, you're going up against other coaches that you coached with. You guys are going to see players that you knew across the net. Does that incentivize you? Does it get you fired up? Like, what are your feelings going into a match where you look across the net and there's a friend?
Yeah, I got a good taste of that being behind Coach Aird when he started at Maryland, and it was really weird going back into rec hall. Some of those things have worn off a little bit for sure, but the respect has never fallen off. I enjoy playing against Coach Steve, as I call him, and then obviously people ask me a lot about the Penn State experience last year, watching them win, and it was a really cool experience to have my daughter. She's 9, just starting to play volleyball. And she was begging me to stay up late to watch the NCAA tournament matches. And part of it is probably because I grew up there, but the reality is I just think that she saw Coach Katie as a role model, and that was a cool experience for me.
Personally, I love it. I am so glad UCLA and USC and Washington and Oregon joined, so I see more of my West Coast buddies. It's so much fun looking across the court and seeing someone a familiar face. Avery from Indiana. Excited for you, babe.
I'm new to this conference, but I have one friend that transferred from my previous team. She's going to play at Oregon. Her name is Oriandra, and so I'm really excited to see her. But I think it's also really quickly, you're very quick as an athlete or as a coach in the, sport environment to just put that aside once you step on the court. You don't even remember about that, like, no mercy. But then, like, once we're done, all hugs and smiles.
Question down here.
Adam, in light of the recent court settlement allowing schools to pay athletes directly, how do you see that impacting both your ability to retain players and also to add players in the transfer portal or recruiting-wise? And also, do you have to be more of a capologist now, where you're negotiating, clauses into contracts, maybe performance incentives, buyout clauses, and being more aware of just how much money you have to offer?
Yeah, I think the market is still trying to figure itself out. It's one of the things a little bit tricky is that there's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of, I wouldn't call it hearsay, but you're just not sure what's real and what's not. I would say 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had a great chat with our new AD. And he's coming from the Atlanta Braves and has worked in professional sports for a very long time. And he had a great conversation just talking about how, in the end, culture will still matter. The best organizations still have great cultures. And so we put our attention to that. I think it was really reassuring to hear your new boss talk about that, especially as a program that we take a lot of pride in that.
Lincoln, over here. Should be the last question here for the Terrapins.
Both Adam and Eva, last year ended with, you got to play in the big arena, 13,000 people record. How do you go about building off of that and getting those people to come back for another match and buy into Maryland volleyball?
If Nebraska's available on Thanksgiving weekend. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, we're trying to be in there for a few matches. I was watching the Big Ten Network years ago, and Dana Recchi talked about the two toughest places to play in the Big Ten were Nebraska and Maryland. And I was drinking coffee and literally spit out my coffee. But she just said the small gym, the pavilion we play in, is there's nobody else playing in the gym like that. It's hard, it's loud, it's intimidating. 2 or 3 years ago, Minnesota was wearing earplugs in our gym, and so we just, hey, this is our home, and we enjoy that. But at the same time, I never want to, stop letting the program grow. And I was telling the story. I was here as an assistant when we moved from the ACC to the Big Ten, and this is a couple previous administrations ago. They weren't going to let us sell tickets. They didn't think that it would be profitable or worthwhile. And now, last year you finished with over 13,000 people there. It was a really special moment. I had to pinch myself and just remind ourselves of not just how Maryland has grown, but how the conference has grown. So we are trying to get a couple more matches in main gym this year and find that balance of having a great home court environment, but at the same time allowing the sport to continue to grow in Maryland.
I agree. Bringing that fun environment to our pavilion gym, and then also getting to play in Xfinity. And just connecting with fans. We love our fans, and the young ladies who come and play at camp and come and return and watch our games. It's an amazing experience, and we hope to keep growing that culture.
Yeah, we did find out Coach Buzz was very happy that we don't use main gym very often. He was happy to have his own gym. So.
I think our time is out for the Terrapins. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.